All right, my name's Gabe with Business Marketing Engine, and today I'm here with Jamie from 07 Designs. And a couple weeks ago, I actually announced that we were giving away a free marketing package of $4,500 value. Jamie won that, and turns out we decided to do a little bit more, so it's actually about a $10,000 package. And so what we're going to be doing over the course of the next year is showing you guys step-by-step how to take your business from where it's at. It could be a startup, it could be an established business, it could be a brand new business or something that's a little bit older. We're going to show you step-by-step how to take that and build it into something that's growing and earning more revenue. And on top of that, it's a business that has a lot more reach and that people know who you are when you walk in the room and when you get on Facebook Live. And when you do your blog posts and when you do all the things that you'll do to market your business. So tell me a little bit about the business, Jamie, how you guys started and what you offer.
Well, we started in 2007 for another couple, and we purchased the business off of them in 2013. We started the company because it was a custom motorcycle shop, and we started it because we wanted to get into doing the graphics for the motorcycles, and I was already established with the graphics. So we went that route, and we kind of turned it into the sign shop and the wide format printing company that it is today. We offer our customers vehicle wraps, vehicle graphics, interior graphics, wall graphics, simple signage. We don't do any kind of exterior large signage, but we do municipalities, we do police vehicles, we do fire trucks, chevron striping. We offer our clients design services, logo design, postcards, flyers, brochures, a variety of things. So, and apparel on a small run. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. What are you printing back here? Because this was on when we came in, so I'm just curious about what it is.
These are banners actually for DNS Automotive. They're one of my great clients, and I do a lot of work for them. And they just put a facility next door to us, and we're going to hang some banners that say free estimates. So to raise a little awareness for their customers and to come into the new shop.
Okay. Awesome. So I'll just kind of run through what Jamie won here so everybody knows what we'll be working on, kind of the deliverables that she gets. First thing is her website, although it's beautiful, is a little bit older and is not mobile friendly. And one of the things that every business owner needs to be aware of is that in most industries, 60 to 70% of your traffic is going to be from a mobile phone. And so it's something very important that you always want to make sure that your site's mobile friendly. So that's what we'll be working on. And you guys will be able to see that kind of transformation as we go. And she'll be working with myself and other members on the team, like Danielle and Colleen and Tiffany, a bunch of folks on our team. So that's the first thing we'll be working on. She'll obviously be hosting with us. One thing on the hosting side that I always mention to people is you can get super cheap hosting. You can get hosting for like $2 or $3 a month. But the issue with going really cheap is that there's not backups. There's no like live person you can talk to. There's no support in real time. So if something happens to your website, it gets hacked, you want to change a page, then you're kind of on your own. And so when you're investing in a piece of a marketing tool or a resource, you don't want to go cheap because it could just end up being catastrophic for your brand in the ultimate long run of how the website works. So our hosting, part of what you got is a $35 a month value. We do backups every night, every week, and every month so that if something were to happen, we can restore it. Plus, we do security monitoring, and on top of that, you get an hour of support. So when we finish relaunching her site to be fully mobile responsive, if 3 or 4 months down the road, she's like, oh, I really need this page here, or I want something added here, or I need a form that's specifically for this campaign that I'm launching, then she'll be able to do that and just reach out, and it's covered in our hosting. So as with everything, you get what you pay for. So I'm just going to be sharing a bunch of kind of tips as we go through what we're offering, what we're giving to Jamie, what we'll be working on together throughout the course of the year so that obviously she understands it, but so that everybody watching understands. The other thing that I want to mention real quick is there's a link in the description for this video. If you're watching it now live or watching it later, you can actually enter to win a free marketing consultation. It's an hour-long consult that we do over phone or Skype or in person if you're local, so it can be anywhere in the world. Unlike for this contest, it had to be somewhere that I could drive, or I didn't want to fly across the world. But you can enter to win that. It's $500 value, and we'll go through everything that you have going on. I'll make specific recommendations, give you strategy tips and everything like that as well. So definitely enter there. And if you do know somebody that would find value from this, maybe you don't need it in your business, but definitely pass it along to them. I definitely appreciate that. So we'll be doing a new website for her. She'll be hosting with us. We're also going to be working on local and national search. Because with SEO, with a local business like Jamie has, you definitely want to have a really strong local presence from a search standpoint, but you also can never ignore national search as a company because they do play together. So in your case, just because I'm learning a lot of this for the first time today, obviously you serve the local community very well, but do you do national projects too? Like
we do.
Okay, yeah. So like you can ship anywhere in the
Yeah, we
States.
actually have created wraps before. We've designed them in-house, we printed them in-house, and we have shipped them nationally.
Okay.
And then we have a good customer out in California that we do a lot of his graphics and his logo design for. So we ship any kind of, he has a new facility, so we ended up making all of his door graphics, shipped them there, and
awesome.
they just, usually they hire somebody to come in and install.
Local and do install it, so I was curious how that would work. Okay. And say somebody that's watching this and they're in another state and they don't have an installer, can you take care of coordinating an installer for them too?
Yeah, we can facilitate that. We can do some research around the area to see who's available and who's recommended in that area and give them that contact information. So
terrific. So we're going to be working on local and national search. One of the things that we do from a search engine optimization perspective, and just to break that down, because there's a lot of people like to throw out technical terms, and that's all great if you're in the industry, but what's important is that you're getting the results as the business owner. So search engine optimization, or SEO, is just getting your website to be ranked on the first page of Google when somebody searches for a term that relates to your business. So for you, Jamie, what's something that you think people search for you, or what kind of things would you want to be found for?
I would definitely want to be found for vehicle wraps, vehicle graphics. They are two different things.
Okay.
I would also like to be found for our graphic design services. A lot of people do utilize that with us. Some clients just utilize that with us. And I would say for the wide format printing, for interior graphics, wall graphics. And when I talk about wall graphics, we cover entire walls with a mural, basically. So,
gotcha. So
it's like real popular item, just to kind of spice things up in offices and whatnot. So
do you do that mostly? I mean, a lot of that sounds like business to business and commercial
it
stuff.
Is.
But do you ever wrap a kid's wall with like superheroes?
Actually, we had a product back in the day that we would call Little Big Shots, and people would give us photographs of their children. We would print them on a material called Phototext, which is a removable wall graphic. And so we would blow it up. Yeah, it's like a fathead, but we wouldn't do it for any sports teams because that's owned by fathead. So we would do personalized ones. So a lot of kids that were in sports, or even actually some people do funny ones for birthday parties and whatnot. So. Yeah, it's available for
very cool
non-business.
Awesome. So we'll look. We're going to do some research. Tiffany on our team is actually going to do some research on that kind of as a starting point, and we'll look and say around those search terms. Here's the other things that people search for too. What's really common in business, and I even do this all the time, and that's why I hire business consultants, is I know everything about the business. I know exactly what we do, what we offer, and I think in those terms. But in reality, our customers generally are thinking something completely different in a terminology standpoint or in a different direction. And so we have some tools with our SEO tools. We can put in the original term, and then it'll show us here's the other things that people are actually searching for around that side. So we'll be focusing on, with those search terms, updating all your local directory listings, everything locally. We do a lot of local focus in the beginning, and then we're going to focus nationally after that, because start local, make sure everything's working there, and then we'll build out from there. So that's actually our BME Silver SEO package that we'll be doing as well. Then in addition, the other thing that Jamie has as well from us is automate your social. So with social media, if you think about, as the end user, anybody watching this, or if you think about this, you pull up your Facebook feed on your phone or on your computer, and there's tons of content in there. There's ads, there's things from your friends, there's things from other businesses in the area, there's events, there's just non-stop noise in a sense. Let's be honest, it's just noise. But when it becomes not noise is when somebody's looking for something, they have a current need. So with social media, it's easy as a business owner. I mean, you just shared with me earlier, you're kind of like me. When I started out, you're doing everything, which is totally normal. So the last thing on your mind is probably like, I should really put some engaging social media posts out today.
Yeah. Well, I was just discussing that earlier.
And that's really normal and really easy. And business owners, our entrepreneurs, our go-getters, are the doers in life. I mean, if you compare me to somebody that's an employee, there's nothing wrong with that, I'm like, I want to do it all.
Yeah.
And so that's completely normal. But in reality, we can't do it all.
Exactly.
And so Automate Your Social is a tool that allows you to, just have our team create all this posts for you, schedule them all out so that you achieve the goal of being constantly active on social media and, being top of mind. Because I may not need a vehicle wrap today, or a prospect may not need, a large format printing today, but in a couple weeks, they'll be like, man, I really could use a banner for this. And when you pop up in their newsfeed and you're saying, here's what we offer, here's everything to do, then you get to be top of mind, and then that, generates branding and sales.
Great.
And so that's the other thing that you have in there. And then last part of the package is that you'll be getting personal sales and marketing consulting from me and just business consulting. A little bit about my story in case you haven't seen it, and for anybody watching that hasn't seen it. When I was 16, I built and sold my first website for $3,000, and I said, hey, this online stuff is going to take off, because that was a lot of money to me back then. And from there, using online marketing and all my tech and web skills and everything, I ended up building a multi-million-dollar construction company that I had for a few years. Lost during the housing market crash because I got stuck for about $250,000 and didn't know how to manage my finances. So everything together ended up not going so well there. But at the end of that kind of painful and bitter learning experience, I realized, well, what I really like about this is the marketing and the technology and figuring all that stuff out. So I shifted to building websites, doing online marketing, and working with a lot of startups. I was in Chicago for about 5 years, and then I moved back here in 2011, which is when I first connected with your company, when I think it was with the previous owners, and then I think we worked with you during the transition, advertising through our Geauga, Lake, and Portage news sites. So that's a little bit of background on me. I've worked with over 1,000 startups over the last 10 years, and I personally built over 1,000 websites. My team and I think have done over 2,500 now.
Wow.
So we've done a lot of it and have seen a lot of different industries, everything from retail to manufacturing to full just all e-commerce stores, lots of different things. And so that I love what I do, because I get to go in and say, like, oh, this is so cool. I didn't, there's something new, where I haven't necessarily worked with that exact niche before, but we've worked with other similar spaces and figured that out. Okay. So now we'll get kind of into the meat of it. Now that everybody knows what we're covering, are we still good back there, Colleen? Everything working?
Yeah.
Cool. Colleen's in charge behind the camera. You guys see her on the other side sometimes. But so what have you done from a marketing perspective over the years that's worked? Or what challenges have you had, or what have you done that hasn't worked?
Marketing is a challenge. Okay. I'm awful at it. I can't honestly say that we've done any marketing that has been successful. I have tried postcards, and it works for a lot of my clients because they come to me and they do the mass mailing and they get contacts and everything. I just haven't put in that much effort. A lot of our business is word of mouth and has been referrals over the years. So we are going to be new to the marketing game, and I'm really looking forward to it because I have a lot to learn. So I can't say that I've had success.
No, that's completely fine. It's very common for startups and any businesses to work on a referral basis and do networking and everything like that, and there's nothing wrong with that, and you should do it on a continual basis. Honestly, that's one area that I'm a little bit weak in, because we're inundated and busy all the time, and so I just don't do enough networking, which is one of my goals for the year. But the way you want to look at marketing is there's multiple channels of what can work. So networking and referrals, you've done great in marketing there, so don't be hard on yourself. That works completely fine. But you'll find that certain channels are either good for certain things or they max out at a certain level. Because if you only relied on networking, that would mean that you really should be out all day networking all the time, and still you only got like 12 or 14 or 18 hours if you're crazy in a day to network. So you kind of cap out. When you introduce other channels like radio, search engine optimization, print, obviously, that you have access to, other things like that, you start to build marketing channels and engines that work on their own without you, and then just interested people will respond.
Okay.
As well as with like email marketing, there's a bunch of different things to do there. What's important before you invest thousands of dollars in a marketing channel is to know what makes you different and what people are going to respond to. So for me, and I feel like I'm probably an average business consumer, when I think about I need business cards or brochures, I think Vistaprint.
All right.
Because they're a huge player in the market. So what makes you different? Why should I work with you instead of Vistaprint?
I would think I'm going back to like being in this area. I like the fact that I can work one-on-one with my clients. You can't work one-on-one with anybody at Vistaprint.
Right.
You can go online and design a business card. I don't know if anybody has seen those magnets that people drive around on their cars, and they're about this big, and the print's about this big. That's what we're here for. We're here for the design expertise. We're here to help you and guide you in the right direction. So yeah, a lot of the times sometimes our pricing is higher for our business cards, but the end result in our product is a higher quality. So as long as people, that's what my clients enjoy working with me for. So
yeah,
makes us different.
Yeah, that's a great point, and that's just the exact example you said, or anything. Like you could order something on the computer screen, and their process is automated, and they're great, and they're a huge big company, and obviously they're successful.
Yeah, props to them, right?
but the issue is I don't know anything about print design. We do a ton of digital, and we do a little bit of print. So I have a couple experts on my team just for print, and obviously would reach out to you now too. But I have no idea, comparatively to the digital world that I know everything about, I don't know anything about print. And so I would order that magnet for my car and then get it and be like, I can't read it at 4 feet away. So that's a great point. That's a huge differentiator, because I could come to you and say, here's my idea, and I could like give you my sketch or my idea, or you would have, I could have the concept, and you say, well, this is a good concept, but here's what's not going to work.
Exactly.
And so rather than me blowing time and money to get something that's not going to work at all, it'd be much better just to... Money is not the issue. A lot of people think it's the issue, but value is what we all need. Like, I need something valuable that's going to work and solve my problem.
And we like to create relationships with our customers, so they're not just coming to us for their logo design. They're coming to us for, like you said, their offset digital printing and then their wide format printing. So we like to create those relationships and help them down the road with all of their print projects, not just one specific thing. So
terrific. So in marketing messages, we so with marketing messages, we have to think about how to position ourselves differently and stand out in seconds, because everybody's already seeing tons of ads from everybody.
Exactly.
If you're at a networking meeting, they're hearing everybody else's 30-second commercial. If we're doing social media posts, they're already seeing there's something like 5,000 ads in a day we see, or something ridiculous.
Same with mobile advertisements, so anything on vehicles.
Yeah, so you really have to stand out with a message that sticks. So when we position you against, because a competitor is Vistaprint, who else are competitors for you?
Locally, we have a lot of sign shops in this area that are my competitors. Like I said, we do small signs. So when I say that, we're doing any of the yard signs, aluminum signs, post and panel signs that are smaller. So there's, in this area alone, there is a high concentration of companies that do the same thing that I do. So that's where the issue lies in Mentor.
Right.
So everybody's everybody's trying to get a little piece of the pie around here, and that's my problem, is where I need to figure out how to make myself stand out and look different than those other companies, and try to figure out how to gain more customers that way.
So two competitor challenges, which are great. And competition always helps the market, honestly. As an example, in a completely different industry, a bar will do better on the street where there's 3 other bars.
Okay.
Same thing applies, honestly, in most marketplaces. So you never want to be worried about your competition, because they're actually building awareness for you to stand out, or for you all to get a piece of the pie.
Right.
Which either way is completely fine. Whereas some people think I want to be the only one.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a good idea.
Most of us aren't like that around here.
Yeah, and I know the community up here in Lake County as a whole is just fantastic. You guys have a wonderful business community, and I'm glad to be a part of it with what we are. So basically, I would think about your competitors in 2 segments: the big online guys, which would be the Vistaprints, and there's a couple others, but they're the name that they have a huge market share.
Right.
And then the local market. So let's think about how to develop some positioning against the big online guys first. So your value is that I get to work with you one-on-one, over the phone or in person, obviously, if I'm locally, compared to what's the downside of going to Vistaprint?
I would just say no human connection with that. I think the more of the wide format printing end of things, and they're offering more of the offset digital press items. So when you want specialty items such as the vehicle graphics and the banners, and you want quality installation, quality work, then you're going to come to us for that sort of thing. Whereas Vistaprint, it's mass produced they don't care about quality. It could come to you, it could be destroyed. We
Right.
look at things and check them before it goes out the door. So
Okay.
I would say that.
Okay. I'm going to check one thing on the video here, and we're going to continue with that thought. Okay, do this without breaking everything. All right, cool. So the way that I would think about that, and I just like come up with these ideas and then we refine them a little bit more, is, you know, don't work with a robot at some big online print shop. Work with somebody in person who actually cares about your company and the end result.
I like it.
So that would be
Right
something easy to
Yeah.
say, because I need to know why I would choose you over another company. And again, a lot of the time it's not price.
Right.
It's really about, you know, the value I'm going to get or the convenience. So so from a convenience standpoint, now that I've established that I'm not going to just be doing it all on my own or dealing with, you know, issues from some big company that doesn't care about me, what's more convenient about working with you?
What's more convenient about working with me? Everything. No.
Good.
Yeah, I really care about our clients that come in. I care about their projects, and I put a lot of effort into the end result of everything that we put out the door. And I would think that is really convenient for my customers, because they know that when they get their product or their vehicle back, it's going to look great and they're not going to have issues. So
Right.
that would be a
So
convenience.
just personalized service.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's just the concept of kind of competing against the big online guys. What's the differentiator from working with you and somebody that's next door?
Somebody that's next door.
You know, really in your.
It's me. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's it.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I've been doing this since 2000. I actually started with another company, local in Mentor, and I was trained by a really great guy. So I have a lot of experience and a lot of expertise in the field. And I think what separates me is, we prefer to have higher end materials that we use. We use a lot of Avery. Avery's in our backyard. They produce great product. We use a lot of 3M. So we're using better materials. We're not saying that we're giving you a better material and we're giving you a lesser material. We don't do that. We're pretty upfront with our customers as to what they're getting, because it's important when it comes to the vehicle wraps and anything that's like any kind of exterior signage. Yeah. I mean, we're printing a banner right now, and I ask my customers, I always ask interior, exterior use, so I know specifically what material to quote them on. So.
Right. Okay. Cool. So I think at the national level, it's pretty easy to differentiate you. I think at the local level, I think it's an area that we'll work on together, because at the moment, and everybody knows I'm pretty upfront and say what I think, but Colleen knows that for sure. I think that it's still pretty crowded. And so one thing that we like to think about is your story and how to position your story a little bit more in the forefront. Because if we say there's ABC Sign Company down the road, and then there's 07 Design, at the basic level, I don't have any distinguishing features or any reasons to work with you over them.
Exactly.
I don't know any different. But if you just introduce a little bit of your story and a little bit of how you solve problems and introduce more, of the human one-to-one connection, then people are like, oh, I get that. I resonate with that, and they'll choose you over them. So that's something to start to think about, is how we can tell your story, in a very simple and a quick way in the beginning, so that people are like, oh, that's why I would go there instead of somewhere else, like spark that human connection. One thing that helps me think about that, and again, this is all off the top of my head, obviously, but is what kind of like success stories have you had with customers, or has there ever been a time where somebody's come to you like, I have this huge disaster, what can you help me do about it?
I've never had huge disasters come to me. I've had, customers unsatisfied with projects that they've had done with previous people, and they've come to me and they've stayed with me. So I would say that those would be the success stories, knowing that I can fulfill their need for their graphics and that they wanted to stay with me. So
is there an example one that comes to mind, like any of those stories? And you can name people or not. I'm not worried about that part.
Yeah, we don't really do that around here.
but is there an example where like somebody wasn't really happy with where they're at and they ended up coming to you, and like what kind of product or what kind of work did you do?
They were for graphics for a police station, and we do more graphics for fire stations than we do for the police station. So
Okay.
getting them in a few at a time here. So that was exciting because I've always enjoyed working on those vehicles and working with the chiefs and whatnot because they're characters, I'll tell you. I mean,
Yeah.
we have a great time every time we go to the station. You know, we just talk and have a great time. So, but I would say that would be one of the better moments. So
Cool. What was their frustration with their old vendor? Did they share like what the issues were or what the concerns were?
It was like the installation, not the care for the graphic placement, not the care for how the graphic laid down, lots of bubbles, just poor installation. So.
Okay. So just not paying attention
Right,
to details.
and I'll tell you, we pay attention to detail. I mean, of course, you know, nothing's 100% perfect. We try to be as perfect as we can. You know, I know there's areas I personally need to work on, which we could tackle this throughout the process. But that's why they decided to jump ship and come sail with us. So.
Okay. So something that comes to mind, and again, just kind of we kind of creatively make these up as we go along, is, you know, working with 07 means that you get to work with somebody that understands that from design to installation to, you know, on-time communication and delivery. We care about every single detail because we know that these designs, these banners, these images, these vehicle wraps, you could insert whatever you're pitching, represent you and your business, and so it's very important to us that it is as professional and perfect, or we'll think of a better word than perfect.
Yeah.
As again, perfect is a little bit out there sometimes.
As a perfect word.
Excuse me.
So okay, cool. So we chatted a little bit earlier. How many jobs per month are you doing right now?
We do about it ranges from 25 to 45 jobs a month.
Okay, and what would be your goal?
We fluctuate.
From that's good for the number. What would be your goal from a number standpoint a year from today if this went successfully and you're happy with it, which obviously is both sides of us working together on it? How many jobs per month would you like to do?
I would like to be upwards to 60 to 75 jobs. I would think that would be manageable with a team.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
get to that point.
Yeah, exactly. So one thing I always challenge everybody to do is to think bigger than what you're thinking about right now. So how about 120 jobs?
Sure.
Could you do that?
We could do that. There's just a difference when you're talking about whether it's vehicle graphics, vehicle wraps, because those take a long time to do. So depending on the complexity of the job, I would say a couple of those a month intertwined with the smaller print, the decals and things like that. Sure, it's absolutely obtainable. So.
Okay, cool. And what's the break point where you do most of this on your own? You said you have pull in a couple wonderful family members and other folks, team members, as needed for the bigger jobs. What's the next step, or what would be the break point of, like, at this point I need to bring somebody in part-time, or I need to bring somebody in full-time? What does that look like from a scale standpoint?
From a scale standpoint?
Like when you get to 50 jobs, you definitely need somebody here, or when it's 80
Yeah,
jobs,
I
or
would
what
say
be?
I would say probably about 75 jobs would be having more people in here. A lot of stuff's just time consuming. It's tedious work at times too. So.
Yeah. Okay. And from a business process standpoint, and this steers a little bit off the marketing path, but marketing always affects this end of the business too, because if it works, then you have this good problem of being busy and needing help. From the business process standpoint, if I came to you today and said, I'm ready to work here, and you chose to hire me, do you have a step-by-step kind of guide on how everything works?
No. You would think we would, but this is kind of the industry where you get thrown into it and you learn as you go. So there's not like a definitive step-by-step. We would like to have somebody who had knowledge of the print industry, definitely knowledge of graphic installation. That's a huge plus. You know, anybody who laid down some vinyl is something that we're looking for. We're not just going to hire someone who has no skill whatsoever. Yeah. But I mean, this is not a job where you need to have a college degree for. That'd be great if you could help me with my marketing, but I have you, so I don't need that. But
next year. I'll
next
take
year.
over.
But that's where we would start with hiring somebody. So it's definitely a beginner level job, but with skill.
Okay. So from a business process standpoint, and looking at all the products, like we have vehicle wraps, and you said there's actually two things: vehicle wraps and what?
Yeah, so you can get a full vehicle wrap, which is it's printed directly to the pressure sensitive vinyl, and you lay it on like wallpaper essentially onto the vehicle. So it's wrapped 100% on them. You can get a partial wrap too if you don't want the whole thing. But then you also have vehicle graphics, which are just it's die cut lettering, die cut graphics.
So just for a door maybe or something.
Exactly. So a lot of times if you don't want to put advertise on the whole entire vehicle, you would just put something on the doors, the tailgate, depending on what your vehicle is.
So those are like the major vehicle products, and then you do logo design, and then what type of and then you do banners, and then you do some print work. So there's like maybe is there like a dozen or different like categories of what you do, or is there more?
There is. It kind of spreads out, and that's the problem that we have is kind of letting people know and understand everything that we're capable of doing. So not only can we, do the standard stuff, but like I said before, we can do small run apparel. So there's a broad perspective of things, and it's just hard to pinpoint it. That's why my website kind of looks like I have a million things on there, because you can honestly, with a few machines, a printer, a plotter, and a laminator, you can create a lot of stuff. So.
So basically, in a sense, anywhere that your billboard is, we can put something on it.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
The coffee cup.
Coffee cups.
Colleen pitched me an idea the other day about coffee cup advertising. I was like, I think I want to do that. So you could print something that could go on a coffee cup.
Yeah. So what's really popular right now are those Yetis.
Yeah.
The Yeti cups, and so people are using at home. People that maybe have like a little Etsy shop. They're using that Cricut, and they're cutting the vinyl and they're putting that on there.
Gotcha.
So. We could do something like that, but I'm personally not going to do one coffee cup.
Right.
But I mean, I don't actually. I do small jobs all the time, so I shouldn't say that I want to do it, but I'd prefer if you had like 5 maybe.
Right. No, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
So if we look at every category that you offer, then the way to start getting ready to scale this, because if your marketing is successful, you're going to deal with this good problem of needing help. The way to start to scale is to start with basic checklists.
Okay.
So if I came in and I know nothing, and you're going to train me from the ground up, and you go and say, okay, this is how vehicle wraps and decals and graphics work, what would be like the 5 or 10 steps or 20 steps that you go through on a job to accomplish from consult, design, to install and done? And you don't have to answer those all right now.
Yeah.
Start thinking about that from a process standpoint for each category. So as a starting point, 1 or 2 pages say these are the steps that a vehicle wrap project goes through.
Okay.
These are the steps that a logo project goes through. Because ultimately, as you scale up and you grow and get bigger, when you have 10 of these printers and you're in a big facility, you're going to have a supervisor that knows what step this job is on, instead of it being in your head.
Yeah.
Which is that's what I work on all the time in my company, because we have over 50 folks on the team across the whole country, and a couple in Canada. So I have to have a step-by-step process for anything that I want to be successful. Okay. And everybody on my team could attest to when I'm like, here's what we're going to do, and I have no process for it. It's messy, it's expensive, it's frustrating, it doesn't work the way it should. But when there's, as a starting point, like a checklist, and then you expand that into actual training material on each step, you can start to build a structure for everything.
Okay.
Because ultimately, you're going to be one where you're sitting watching everything run, and you're not doing every single step.
Yeah, I know.
She's like, that sounds horrible.
But that's something to think about. And when it comes to process, marketing falls into that too.
Okay.
Everything should follow a process. And there's a bunch of paid stuff that we're doing for you, but I also want you to go out and do some free promotion, because it's going to help you kind of find your voice for the company. It's going to get you even more exposure. It's going to even magnify what we're doing in a bigger way too.
Okay.
So I have 2 challenges for you, and then we'll wrap up the video, and then we'll release some other things, and there will be more video coming. Before I get to the challenges, everybody, there's a link there. If you want a free marketing consult, it's $500 value. It will be at least an hour long. We'll go through everything you have going on. I'll give you specific challenges, tips, and strategies, and help you with anything you need. You can click the link and enter there to enter to win that. So definitely do that. And also, like I mentioned earlier, maybe you're set and you're running a multi-million-dollar corporation, which is fantastic, but or maybe you're not a business owner, but you know somebody that could benefit from that. Definitely share this video with them, or just tag them down below. That would be fantastic. So 2 challenges. Number 1 is categorize everything you do. So send me a list of here's the 10 categories we do. We touched on it for a minute, we do, vehicle wraps and graphics, and we do all that. So categorize all those, and then write a step-by-step checklist for each category.
Ooh.
So, and it just as a basic, you don't have to get crazy, but if logo design, maybe it's, 30-minute consult with a client. Then we do sketches. Then you approve the sketches. I don't know what your steps are, but just simple things so that you have that in hand. The next thing is that I want you to do 2 Facebook Lives a week talking about what you're currently working on. So you can just pop your phone up and say, hey, this is Jamie at 07 Designs. You can do it on your personal page or on a business page, it doesn't matter. And say, today we're printing this large format banner. It's perfect for this, and it can be 5 minutes long.
Okay.
But do that twice a week and talk about what you're working on here. Because when we don't talk about what we're doing, nobody knows, and there's no opportunity to build that exposure.
Okay.
I think you can do that.
I'm a little camera shy.
You're doing fine today.
Okay.
Those will be your 2 challenges.
Right.
While we kind of do our setup and work to start working on the website and everything like that, we want to immediately hit the ground running and get your exposure out there. So we'll do those 2 things, and then we'll be scheduling another time, which I'll share with everybody so they can tune in and watch live next time. And thanks for sharing everything. I'm excited to be working on this.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep.